Hello, hello, hello. Oh dear, my puppy of course is going to pick now to be barky. How you doing tonight? So, the fall weather. The weather changes. So northern hemisphere, the fall weather. Kind of brings me down. Don't get me wrong. I totally like fall colors. I totally like cool weather, but not 1 second too early. I like my swimming pool a lot. I like my convertible a lot. I like summer a lot. So, here we are. Convertible's got put away. Swimming pool is down. It's fall. Boom, fall. Okay. I can switch over. I can like fall. That's gross. Supper, I guess. So, the other thing that happens to me in the fall is I vacillate back and forth between, yay, it's fall, I'm not in the swimming pool, I can do all the things. And who the hell wants to do all the things? So, let's start with some basic. Let's start with some of the questions that I get a lot. Let's start with, where can you start when maybe you took the last 3 months off? Let's start with what's going on. Let's start with, how can I help you? So, just real quick here, I want to make sure you know that counting today for the next 8 weeks, on Wednesdays about 6 right here, I am going to do a masterclass on some topic related to nutrition or fitness. Next week I am going to talk Fitness 101, getting back started, the Fitness 101 and the all or nothing. Let's not do all the things. And then the next week I want to talk about holiday eating. So just so you kind of have a preview of what's coming. But also if you have any topics that you think would be fascinating or you've really been struggling with or you have some big questions on, be sure to shoot me a message or drop it down in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So my name is Denise Willick-Peterson. I've been a certified personal trainer for over 17 years now. Started out super general, started out super go heavy, go hard, go home. And then over the years, just my shift has changed a little bit. And I am now focusing a little bit more on women, especially women with hormonal issues as we get past childbearing age, and all of the things kind of related to that topic. And I've studied with Dr. Tita, I've studied with Dr. Westy, I've studied with Dr. Gottfried. I've really put a lot of effort into learning different modalities, different viewpoints, and then put my own spin on like some of the things, right? Like put all the science together and then make it usable for almost everybody, that's post-childbearing age and is female. Okay, anyway. I might have to take this to a different room. She doesn't like it when dogs walk on our sidewalk, and it's dog walking. Okay, so tonight I thought I would start with, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Bopper. She's usually such a good dog, unless there's a dog on our sidewalk. So let's start with when somebody comes to me. Denise, how should I eat? Denise, what do I eat? What do you eat for breakfast, Denise? Well, I have a protein shake because I get up super early. And I don't like to think about breakfast. I went through a phase where I thought about breakfast a lot. And quite honestly, sleep has become more important to me. So, protein shakes for breakfast are my thing. But what might you eat for breakfast? So, protein shake is always my go-to. Or if you listen to me long enough, Denise, how do I get protein and how do I get vegetables in breakfast? Like, I can't even think of a breakfast where that's going to be good. Omelets, right? Spinach, peppers, onions, mushrooms. Those are vegetables, That's a great place to start. Or A lot of times people talk about having breakfast for supper, right? So they have like pancakes and eggs for supper. Well, why can't you have supper for breakfast? Right? So what's wrong with a sandwich for breakfast? Something stuffed with deli meats and last night's leftovers? Like somewhere along the line, breakfast really got this rap of it has to be breakfast food. So maybe we need to pivot our mindset, right? Like when people say, oh my God, I can never have vegetables for breakfast. I'm like, first of all, you're not thinking outside the box. Secondly, sure you can. It just depends on when your health gets to be the priority, then you'll do what you got to do, right? So I'm kind of a you'll do what you got to do kind of girl. So I like to say I'm not a ton like my mom, but in that way, I kind of think I am. Like, just do what you have to do. If the goal is that important, you'll do what you have to do. If the goal is not that important to you, you'll find ways to not do the things. Do the things. At any point, if you guys have any questions, be sure to pop them down in the comments, and I will try and answer them as we go along, or at the end, whatever. All right. Another question I get a lot when I start working with people, and because they always start with, what do you eat for breakfast? And I say shake. They say, I don't really want to eat shakes. I just want to eat real food. What's real food? What in the world is real food? So I think we have to start with having a discussion about what real food is. Because so often when people say they just want to eat real food, it means they don't want to go to Target and buy a protein shake because the choices can be overwhelming and we don't know what to pick. But we're still going to eat things out of a box, things out of a can, things out of a jar. We're going to drink things called Powerade and Kool-Aid. And those are not real foods, at least by my definition, right? So let's first define what real foods are. Real foods are fruits, vegetables, proteins, water, things that come from a plant, not a plant. It is not a thing. It's just not the thing. So a lot of, like when people say they just want to stick to real food, they want to stick to what they know. And people in general eat the same 20 foods over and over and over and over and over again. And to start thinking out of the box can be overwhelming. Can also be like, I had no idea that existed, right? So it's kind of nice sometimes to get in groups where there is food share ideas so that we can all have better ideas. I've said this before, growing up, we had for supper meat, veggies, and a starch, right? My parents bought a side of beef or, cow or whatever. We had beef all year long, and once in a while we'd have chicken. And, at the end you always had to eat all the liver. Yuck. And veggies, 1 can of veggies, served the family of 4, and then we either had rice, potatoes, or noodles. And that's what we had. We did not have tater tot hot dish. We did not have spaghetti. We did not have casseroles of any way, shape, or form. So when I married Ken, and he made tater tot hot dish and chicken on Sunday and all these things in a crock pot, I had no idea what he was doing. But it turns out it's pretty good. And he fits into the things of the protein and the vegetables and the starch. Just weren't ways that I was used to seeing it made. So a lot of times when people start eating healthier, they just don't know what that looks like. They've not been introduced to it, and we need to just have ideas for each other. So if somebody says, hey, what'd you have for supper? Don't say, hey, yeah, I had the usual. For somebody else that's maybe asking and hinting around for ideas, maybe the usual is McDonald's. So, real food. Okay. Another really common thing, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that after 40 especially, as women, we need to support our muscle mass. as humans in general, but after 40, we all start to lose our muscle mass really, really fast. And in order to support the muscle mass we have, and in fact gain some, we need to get a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day. So pretty frequently I hear, that is so hard. I don't get 100 grams a day, Denise. I've been tracking because I hear you say 100 grams. I don't know what to eat. I only eat 3 times a day. First of all, bravo if you only eat 3 times a day. Listening to the hunger cues, awesome. But let's break it down. I'm going to assume you eat 3 times a day plus 1 snack. If you only eat 3 times a day, then the snack proportion you just have to split over the 3 meals, right? So your body can only use so much protein at one time, right? If you sit down and eat a 2-pound steak at supper, your body is still only going to utilize 25 to 35 grams of that protein. The rest gets stored, gets kicked out, right? Your body can't use it. So you need to pace your protein throughout the day, right? You need to get 25 grams of protein for breakfast, 25 for a snack, 25 for lunch, 25 for supper, right? That's assuming 3 plus a snack, 25 grams a day, or a meal, I'm sorry. So what does that look like? Okay, I already told you I eat protein shakes, drink protein shakes. Boom, 25 grams, done. I have a scoop of my protein shake is 20 grams. I add a scoop of collagen. There's another 7, 8, 9. Right? Boom, done. Add seeds to it. For lunch, I have last night's leftovers. So at this point now, Ken knows he needs to make an extra 4 or 5 ounces of meat for me to take for lunch the next day. I add vegetables from a bag. There, lunch. Supper, again, Ken knows 4 or 5 ounces of meat for supper and a vegetable. And then for my snack, it might be a couple of hard-boiled eggs. It might be a couple of slices of deli meat. It might be some nuts. Those are not my best protein choices, but they're not sugar, and sugar is my weakness. So I go where I can. Could be peanut butter, again, more fat than protein, but still some protein. Hummus, last night's leftovers. That one's a little trickier for me. Sometimes it's a protein shake. Kind of depends on how close I'm looking at it, right? So then I hear, well, Denise, it's so hard to get 100 grams in. Okay, I get it. Let's look at the rest of your day. I find that when I struggle to get enough protein at supper, I have maybe let supper get too late and I had some crackers to tide me over. I maybe had a banana to tide me over. I maybe had some sort of snack that was not really nutrient dense that then filled all the space up. So then I could only eat, maybe 3 ounces of protein or whatever, and I didn't get enough protein. So if you find that the spacing between your meals is not quite right and you're getting hungry between meals and you're not prepared with a high protein snack, first of all, either get a high protein snack or secondly, move the times of your meals, right? I had one client that she's like, I come home from work and I am so freaking hungry. I just start shoveling food in my mouth. Well then, how about before you leave work, you have a quick protein shake? How about for lunch, this particular woman wasn't getting enough protein for lunch, so we added more protein into her lunch, added a protein shake before she left work. Then she was totally fine for the drive home and had time to get home and make supper. And then that was another protein-filled meal. So sometimes it's in the timing of the meals. We think we're eating really great at our meals, and we kind of forget that we're squeezing in other little food bits and bats. Well, all the bites, licks, and tastes start to add up and make you not hungry then for the end of the day because you fill up that ravenous time. So some hints on this. Start every meal with your protein, right? Like if you've measured out and you know that you have 30 grams of protein and you don't know how hungry you are, start with the protein. It's that important. Next, I will eat my vegetables. I've never been one that can eat a bite of protein, a bite of vegetables, a bite of potato. I eat a stick and I eat it all. So start with your protein. Eat your protein first. Don't start with a yummy potato all loaded up with the yummies and then tell me you don't have room for the protein. Start with the protein every meal. And then eat your vegetables and then have that potato or that piece of fruit or that bit of potato salad, whatever it is that you're eating that does not fall into the hunk of meat, green vegetables category. Those are the last things that actually go in your mouth, right? Slow down while you eat. I tease my husband a lot. He looks like a movie jailbird, right? When he eats, his hands are around up and eat your food. I'm not going to steal your food. You need to slow down, right? Frequently, he is way done and moved on. I'm still eating. You don't need to eat that fast. So always start with your protein. All right. What about protein bars? What about them? So just like protein shakes, there's good ones, there's bad ones. There's ones that are disguised as protein bars but are not really protein bars, right? So protein bars. A lot of times a beginner in health and nutrition hears the bars part and assumes that all bars are protein. Nature Valley granola bars are not protein. Cliff bars, Lara bars. Oh, love Lara bars. They are not a protein bar. They are an energy bar. Because when you go to the back of the label and you're reading the label that says 2 grams of protein, 45 grams of carbs, that is not a protein bar. It's got some protein in it, but so does a scoop of peanut butter. It's not high on the protein list, right? So when you are looking at protein bars, or this could go for shakes too. First of all, go to the ingredient list. That's a thing that says pea protein, whey protein, high fructose corn syrup, rolled oats, organic brown rice syrup. That one always used to get me when I first started on my journey. I was like, well, organic brown rice, those are health foods, right? Organic means healthy. Brown rice is healthy. That's sugar. That's sugar. I was so sad the day I learned that. Organic brown rice syrup is sugar. So my rule of thumb is read the first 5 ingredients. First of all, if there's more than 5 ingredients, borderline on whether or not that's a real food. Secondly, how many forms of sugar are in the first 5 ingredients? Fun ones. Start with rolled oats, organic cane sugar, organic brown rice syrup, wheat flour, honey. First of all, that's 3 forms of sugar in the first 5 ingredients. Secondly, I haven't heard protein yet, right? So you want to make sure there's protein in the protein bar. And it should come pretty quickly, like in the first ingredient, maybe the second. Are there some good ones? Sure, there's some great ones. They are great if you are someone that maybe has to eat in their car a lot. I used to travel from location to location a lot, and protein bars were easy as that snack to make sure I was getting protein. And we should not use protein bars to substitute protein for all our meals. Our body still needs all the things that happen in the meat and the vegetables and the fruits, right? So I have people tell me, I don't like vegetables. Can I just eat protein? No. I want you to think back. Anytime you are trying to rationalize what the choice you want to make, first of all, if you're trying to rationalize it, you already know the answer is wrong, that your answer is probably wrong, and you're just looking for some validation. Secondly, if your 2-year-old wouldn't eat vegetables, then what? Do you never introduce them again? No. Every book I've ever read says reintroduce them in 6 weeks. Maybe today they really didn't like asparagus, but in 6 weeks they're going to think it's the best thing ever. right? You reintroduce it. You keep trying. Guess what? As an adult, you can keep trying, right? When I was a kid, my mom made Brussels sprouts. They came in a box. I think it was a 10-ounce box. It was like an inch wide and 4 inches and 6 inches. And the Brussels sprouts came out in a big frozen together square. And then she boiled them. It wasn't until like 4 or 5 years ago that somebody made roasted Brussels sprouts. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are the best things ever. Keep trying them new. Keep trying them at different people's houses and see how different people make them. Keep experimenting. Buy small portions. Then you don't have to throw so much away if you still don't like it. Keep trying it. Another reason to keep trying. So protein bars, like they add the supplements back in. They add the vitamins and the minerals back in. But if we just get the things, the vitamins and the minerals from nature the way they were intended, then all of the things that work together to get them in the cell are all together already, versus us having to like do the science on it, right? Like calcium needs vitamin K, D. I don't drink milk. I quit reading the label, right? But it needs vitamin K. Let's say it's K. It might be D. Calcium needs vitamin K. Good ones what? Are we talking about protein bars there? Okay. If calcium needs vitamin K, if you're getting calcium in a form, it is vitamin K, that your body can use, the answer is spinach. Spinach has calcium and vitamin K right there together in the proportions, the way it's all needed so that your body absorbs it best. Unlike, say, cow's milk, that you have to add vitamin K back in order for it to work. That's how you know if it's a real food or not, if your body can use it. So, you're not going to like my answers, but you still need the vegetables. All right, I'm going to assume that the question here, Betsy, is good ones I like, is that protein bars? I don't like protein bars. When I was doing more bodybuilding and having to get way more than 100 grams, I ate some body bars. Let's see. Some of my clients like Quest bars. You could try those. There's Quest cookies. Try them. When you decide to try a protein bar, watch reactions. Watch for reactions. A year ago was the first time I was in Boston for a business mastermind, and the host had gotten Quest bars. Quest had sponsored the thing, so there was tons of Quest bars. So I was eating Quest bars like a crazy person. I'll bet I ate 6 or 7 Quest bars in 2 days. And on the third day, I woke up, I'm like, I'm getting hives. Why am I getting hives? What's going on? And I had a few extra Quest bars for the ride home, and I was like, oh my God, it's these Quest bars. I took the Quest bars out, and my hives went away. Now that's a personal reaction to Quest bars. I have clients that do very well on them. I don't like protein bars, but that's personal. They still work. If I'm going to eat a bar, I'm going to eat a Lara bar, and I do that knowing that it's an energy bar, not a protein bar. So heads up on that. RX bars. One of my other clients really likes RX bars. I can't tell you the macro content on that right now, but that one seems to be a good one where it's not lots of weird vegetables or weird ingredients. So maybe try those RX bars. All right. The next question I had on, but I don't like vegetables. I do not care. I do not care. This goes back to the whole 2-year-old thing. I don't care if you like them. This is what's for dinner. If you're hungry enough, you'll eat them. You'll find ones you like. You'll find ways you eat them. Eat the vegetables. So I mentioned apple cider vinegar in my post today, so I wanted to be sure to cover that. So apple cider vinegar is just kind of a good detoxer, a good cleanse kind of thing. When I take it, and I do not always, that was not the question I had. When I take apple cider vinegar, I take about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to the juice of half a lemon. I don't like adding lemon juice out of a bottle. It's weird that way. And some warm, not hot water. I don't mind the taste of that. Other people say guzzle it down. Side note, enamel on your teeth. I have had clients who have come back and like the enamel on their teeth starts to get eroded. One of two things: either use a straw or rinse your teeth off right away, swish your mouth right away so that acid doesn't sit on your teeth. All right, so what is a super duper, Denise has got all of her shit together, Denise has got huge goals, Denise is really focused on her food kind of day look like? I would get up and I would make some warm water. Are you there? Okay, good. I would make some warm water in the teapot, juice half a lemon, tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and drink that instead of coffee. I like coffee. Okay, but we're talking about the ideal day. I would follow that up with a protein shake with some seeds depending on where I'm at in my cycle. Could be pumpkin and flax, could be sesame and sunflower. For my mid-morning snack, because I get up really early, I have my snack in the morning. I have a hunk of meat and a piece of fruit. Could be a couple meatballs. I really like to make meatballs ahead, and I mean, those are just really easy for me to eat between clients, and I don't mind them cold. I don't mind them hot. Meatloaf is another option. I don't know why I don't like meatloaf, but I do like meatballs. It is what it is. For lunch, I will have a hunk of last night's meat. Like I said, it's taken a while for Ken and I to get in the groove, and for him to understand that we need to make 3 servings of meat at supper, 1 for him, 1 for me, 1 for my lunch the next day. And then I will either use some vegetables from the night before, or I always have bags of frozen vegetables on hand that I can throw into my little mini crock pot and use my mini crock pot for lunch. Supper, again, Ken has amazeballs, hunk of meat, vegetables. Now, for those of you that haven't listened to me very long, Ken makes me make my own vegetables, just so you know. Hey, Stacy. And we've just kind of got the timing down where he's like, okay, how long are your vegetables going to take tonight? Okay, it's 8 minutes till we eat. Are you making vegetables or what? Right? So you do what you got to do, but that's how my world works. 100 ounces of water a day. Remember, this is my ideal day. 8.25 hours of sleep, because I know that I've done the experiment and I know that I need 8.25 hours of sleep, that when I'm at my best and I just go to bed when I go to bed, and it takes 8.25 hours. We can talk about that some other day if you're interested. I'd meditate for 20 minutes a day. I do a 1-hour stroll. Twice a week, I do a really heavy strength workout. Twice a week, I do a really fast sprint workout. That was Denise's ideal got her shit together day. Now, reality, I like coffee. I don't say I try. I don't like to use the word try. I usually have my coffee before my protein shake, and you should have your protein shake first. So I'm working on that right now. Ken's fantastic with supper. That means I'm fantastic with lunch. That means I get my protein shake for breakfast. Snacks, when I'm not quite all together, might be a Larabar, might be a little bit more carby than proteiny. And I have awareness around that. I know what happens when I do that too long. Also, I like wine. So if I'm not getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding competition, if I'm not on some weird kick where I think my butt needs to be smaller, I might have a glass of wine at night. I don't like sprints. I love to lift heavy, but I do not like sprints. Sprints take some convincing. Strolls, I've been better this last month because I'm in a walking group where we're doing 100 miles from Labor Day to Thanksgiving. My dog's been particularly ready to go with me. And I'm a little concerned what might happen as the weather gets cold, because I don't like cold weather, right? So sometimes I have to think about it more. Sometimes I have to let the little chirp chirp on my shoulder Convince me that I need to go for a walk. Convince me that I need to have the protein shake first. Convince me that I could actually run up and down those stairs for 20 minutes. Right? We all go through cycles is all I'm getting at. And sometimes it's all very easy and sometimes it's harder. And sometimes it depends on whether or not you have a hard and fast end goal. Like a lot of times, it's my kid is getting married and I need to look great. I need to lose 30 pounds. I would challenge that mindset thinking a little bit. And if you are motivated and you have a date like that, then you are more likely to write down the foods and adjust accordingly. So there's that. If you have a question, go ahead and type it in the comment section here so I can get to them. And then I'm going to have this available here in the group. If you are looking for the show notes, yeah, I like that. It makes me think I'm going to do a podcast. I don't think I have the wherewithal to do a podcast right now. Maybe next year. Do you guys watch podcasts? Or watch them? See, I don't even have the language right. Do you guys listen to podcasts? If so, what's your ideal length of podcast? When do you listen to them? Okay, side note. If you want the show notes, go to my website, nowgetgoing.com. At the bottom of the first page, it says sign up for the diet journal. The diet journal is also the sign up for my email list, and I'll be sending out the show notes tomorrow. Every Wednesday from now until Thanksgiving, I'm going to do a class right here, 6 o'clock Central Time. Like I said, next week I'm going to talk about the very basics of fitness, the questions that often people feel silly asking, but we all kind of wonder because we're never really sure. And then I'm going to talk about holiday eating that week of Halloween, the start of the candy season. We're going to talk about that. So I do know at least the next two topics. And if you have anything specific, be sure to drop me a line and I'll see what I can add in there. So that's every Wednesday, 6 Central. Let me know. Fitness 101. And if you want the notes, get on the email list. Tell your friends about it. If they have questions, I'll be here next Wednesday. And I am so grateful that you are here. Thanks for being here. And we'll talk soon. Have a good one.